Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Mega Man X Part 7. So we're finally going to take on the final boss, Sigma. And before we take on the final boss, they make us climb up an epically long and narrow passageway to bring up the dramatic effect of the final battle. So we have to dodge these caterpillar things, these worm caterpillar things. They're climbing on the side of the Lindra as we touch them. Just going to climb up to the very top. There's a lot of suspense because there's an epic final battle coming up. So we finally get to meet Sigma, and we get to meet his pet as well too. Welcome. I see you managed to get here by yourself. Very impressive. I could destroy you, but I would not rob my pet of that pleasure. He knows how to deal with betrayers. Should you live, I will be waiting for you. Don't disappoint me, X. So we're going to take on Sigma's pet. It doesn't really specify what kind of pet it is. It looks like a dog mixed with a wolf or some weird creature thing like that. But this pet's a complete total pushover. Just blast him with shotgun ice several times, and he will be dead easy. Shotgun ice is one of the most commonly used weapons in this game. Also because the weakness of so many of the bosses in this game, shotgun ice actually is an underrated weapon in that sense. So we destroyed him. And now we're going to take on Sigma. And Sigma's weakness is Spark Mandrill's weapon, which is why I have Spark Mandrill's weapon equipped. Excellent job, X. I see Y0 counted on you. You are almost as good as a hunter's eye once was. By the time of your destruction has arrived, you shall regret ever having defied me. Sigma used to be the leader of the Maverick Hunters, but now he's a Maverick himself. Now he's going to take out his green lightsaber. He's going to jump around us like he's some sort of Jedi. He's going to cut us up with a green lightsaber, but we're not going to let him do that, because we have Spark Mandrill's weapon, which is his weakness. It's actually kind of a pushover in this phase, because each Mega Man boss does have, each final boss in the Mega Man game does have more than one phase. Dr. Wily always had several phases, and Sigma's going to be no different. Sigma in this game has at least a few phases. This is his first real phase right now. We're actually fighting against him, where he's taking out the lightsaber, the green lightsaber. He uses it to block our attacks. Get the lightsaber. Lightsabers are supposed to block attacks. It's good that he can't actually deflect the attacks, though. Or maybe he can't deflect the Spark Mandrill's weapon. This guy's kind of a pushover. Sigma is a real pushover. We waited so long to fight him, and now we finally have to fight him, and he's nothing but a frickin' pushover. His attacks don't really do much against us, and our attacks seem to do a lot against him because we're using his weakness. He's gonna be dead really shortly. He didn't last long at all, but of course he's obviously setting something up. He's playing easy on us on purpose. He wants us to get a false sense of security when we actually fight his final form, which is coming up right now. Gonna take on his final form, where his head is gonna go to that thing that looks like an Anubis thing, and he's with all those arms, with those two hands, they're swerving around, they shoot lightning out of the palms, in the back of the palms. They're just gonna constantly shoot fire down on us and all sorts of stuff. Just like in Donkey Kong, where we keep getting fire blasted at us and everything's thrown at us. We have to jump over them and jump on platforms that are constantly being, that are constantly shooting stuff at us. This is so much like Donkey Kong. Again, this whole game is very much like Donkey Kong. I never realized how much inspiration Mega Man took from Donkey Kong. The only thing we really have that can destroy Sigma, well, his weak point is his head right there that we're shooting at, the Anubis head. That's the only part he's really weak against. We have to use an absolute fully charged X-Buster shot, the upgrade. This is what I meant earlier when I said you need the upgraded X-Buster to destroy Sigma. For this very reason, it's not possible to do this without the X-Buster upgrade. Another thing that can be done, you can also use Armored Armadillo's weapon on him too. I thought it also damages him too, but that uses energy, and it's kind of hard to hit with Armored Armadillo's weapons. This is better, you just use the fully charged X-Buster, which is what I'm doing right now, the X-Buster. Well, we could have got it from Dr. Light if we went into Spark Mandrill stage and got it there, but no, I didn't have it when I went to the first Sigma stage, so instead Zero gave it to us. So we're using a gift that Zero gave us, making this, so it's like we're honoring Zero. He sacrificed himself so we could get to where we are now and destroy Sigma. Let's make Zero's sacrifice worth it. Was it really worth it? We'll find out in the next game, probably. So we could climb up the sides of the wall and dodge these spiky hand things. They're constantly shooting stuff at us. I already took out maybe a little more than a tenth of his health. Almost a quarter of his health is gone now. That's how good we are. It's actually not that hard of a final boss. Just stand where I'm standing. I'm standing on the edge, so it's still safe. At the same time, I don't have to worry about the lightning blast coming out of his hand destroying me. And everything could damage you significantly, so when your health starts to run remotely low, I recommend using one of the sub-tanks Suciatus did right there. This is one of my most impressive gaming achievements ever. I remember playing this back in 2011 on an emulator. I was really impressed that I made it this far. I didn't think I would ever get far playing this game on a keyboard, but I did, and I consider it to be one of my greatest gaming achievements ever. I did it back in 2011, and I'm pretty much doing it again right now. And then shortly after, I remember talking about how great of an achievement this was. It really led to me getting my ass whooped on the school bus by a bunch of kids that are a lot younger than me that thought Mega Man X is a stupid game that was kind of been long forgotten. In all fairness, this happened in 2011. And Mega Man X kind of was a forgotten game back then. There haven't been any new installments in this series since Mega Man X8, which came out in 2004. Capcom doesn't really do much of Mega Man X anymore. Yeah, they still do a lot of classic Mega Man. They still make new games for the classic Mega Man, new stuff for classic Mega Man, but they never seem to really do much of Mega Man X anymore. I mean, sure, he's not as iconic or as, memorable as classic Mega Man, but he still is, his own great thing in his own right. I think most people agree that Mega Man X is one of Capcom's best characters. He's definitely one of my favorite of the Mega Men, if you could call him that. Well, he definitely is Mega Man, so we saw it from Mega Man. Robots over the years did in their own respective series. Mega Man X definitely is one of the better ones, I think. And he's just gonna see, he doesn't really, the Sigma boss doesn't really change much, it doesn't really change much, he doesn't really do much, doesn't really think oh, my health is low, I better be more aggressive. No, he just does the same thing over and over again. And he hopes eventually, whatever he does, it's gonna result in you getting killed. But that's where the flaw in his plan is, because if you don't get killed, this boss is actually very predictable. Sometimes he throws lightning down there, fire. We're just standing on this platform like what I'm doing. You're almost never going to get hit by that stuff anyway, so it's kind of useless a lot of the time. This whole final boss is pretty much useless if you know exactly what to do, which is what I'm doing right now. It's actually really easy to exploit. There's barely anything to this. Dr. Wily had more imaginative final bosses or final battles in classic Mega Man. And this is Sigma. This is his first time he ever, this is Sigma's first time ever being a final boss. So he probably didn't really know much about anything. Well, he is Dr. Wily of this series, pretty much. No! It's not possible! I'm a Reploid! I can't be destroyed by you! Why, X? Why have you done this to us? Without the humans, my Reploid brothers could have ushered in a new age! Reploids, that's the species they are, technically speaking. They're Reploids. They're not robots, they're Reploids. And Sigma want a whole world just Reploids and no humans. But Sigma's fortress is destroyed. Sigma's fortress that flies over the sea. You never really saw how X and Zero got there. Got to a fortress flying over the sea, but somehow it was. And now it's destroyed, and X stares at it off in the distance, off in the nighttime distance. Because the most dramatic scenes always happen at nighttime, right? The war has ended for now, and peace has been restored, but those who sacrifice themselves for the victory will never return. If only that were true. Exhausted, X gazes at the destruction he helped cause and wonders why he chose to fight. X always does this at the end of every game. He always questions why he fights and why he battles evil. He always questions himself like that. Was there another way? Standing on the cliff, the answer seemed to escape. And do you really need answers for this? He's an action hero. He's supposed to fight bad guys and destroy them. That's what he was built to do. He only knows that he'll fight the Mavericks once again before he finds his answers. How long will he keep on fighting? Keep on fighting Mega Man X for everlasting peace. How long will his pain last? Well, if peace was to continue forever, he'd have to fight forever. Maybe only the X-Buster on his hand knows for sure. This ending music is really good. Some of the best music in this game comes from this ending scene. This actually is a really good ending. X lost his friend Zero, but he still managed to defeat the main villain at the end, and now he's questioning himself. He's questioning reality. He's pretty much a philosopher almost. Those philosophers that think are like, what's our real purpose in life? What's the meaning of life? That's what X is pretty much doing right now. He's questioning himself. What's the meaning of life? What's the meaning of what it is, what I do? What's my real purpose in the world? Well, we all know what his true purpose is. His true purpose is just to be a cluster of 16-bit pixels that rest on our screen so he can entertain us, so we can play as him and control him and make him do stuff and destroy evil robots and have fun for us. That's the real reason why he exists. But in the game, it's probably just simply so he can stop Sigma each time Sigma comes and destroys the world or something like that. So this is telling us the different stages. It doesn't really say what the Maverick was. This is like, power plant stage. That must have been Spark Mandrill stage. It gives us a list of enemies that were present in the levels, a cast of characters essentially. Well, it plays, very climatic music, and we see like the sunrise now while X is running down the freeway. It's probably that same freeway we saw him in the original intro stage, gallery stage. I wonder what that was referring to, a gallery stage. I remember there being a gallery in this game. Tower stage, that's probably Boomer Gawanger's stage. Forest stage, that's probably, what's his name, Sting Chameleon stage. Give us a list of all the enemies. Sigma stage, always which stage that was. So this shows X-Ray. This is also very reminiscent of the original Mega Man, when Mega Man was running down the street at the end of the game and shows a different where the credits are while it plays music. Yes, like I said, this game is very reminiscent of the original Mega Man in a lot of ways. Launch Octopus. Like I said, I'm sure if the original Mega Man was made years later, it probably would have been something like this. Stormy, just listing who all the Mavericks are. It's not even saying like who their designers were or who worked on them or what, or like the those kind of credits. Just simply showing us stuff we already know. It's credits that just show us, who was in the game, just in case you forgot who was in the game. It's like people totally forget what enemies are in the game, right? You're always gonna remember every single Maverick to take on. So it's just gonna show us on the top of the screen as if they're ghosts. Well, we did kill them, so it makes sense they would be ghosts. I remember I would always save state right where I beat the final boss. That way, if you load the save state, it'll just show the final boss being destroyed, and it will show that, you beat the game. I do that as like a way to prove that, as a way to prove that I actually beat the game. So if people ever ask, did you really beat the game? Prove it. I can just show them that. It proves I've actually beat the game. I actually found some of my old save states from way back in 2011 and 2012 just recently. And they actually still work too. It's even more surprising. It's not even the same computer. And you as Mega Man X. Yeah, you were technically in the credits. We just got credited for being in this game. Because we're Mega Man X. You as Mega Man X. I got my name in the credits of the game, finally. What an achievement that is. See, I thought that was really impressive that I actually found the save states from way back in 2011, 2012. It's all the times that I beat Mega Man V for the Game Boy in those years. And they're both the exact same thing. It's just that for me at the moment where I defeated the final boss, now it's actually showing the real credits of the game, the real people that actually worked on this game. They all have, just single names. People don't seem to have last names. I guess people who worked on in this game seem to have, last names. And they figured out, what's the point of a last name? Someone named Elf who worked as a sound designer. Well, Christmas is coming up soon, so I guess it makes sense they'd have elves working on these games. Maybe it was Buddy the Elf or someone like that. Elf, yeah, he was a sound designer. They had elves working as sound designers. Professor F was a producer. Professor F, I wonder who that could have been. It's obviously a professor of some kind. Probably made enough money from teaching dumb classes at some dumb 2-bit community college that he got enough money to produce this game. This is a game that was made of a cheap, petty producer, made with a cheap, petty professor's salary. Special thanks to Capcom all staff. Thanks for playing, presented by Capcom. I'd really like to thank us for playing this game. I remember back in the good old days in games would always do that. Oh, thanks for playing. I don't think games really do that anymore. Then again, I don't really play very many games anymore in general, so how would I ever know? It's gonna stay at this screen for a while to make us think that this is the absolute end of the game. This is the absolute last screen of the game. But if you just leave it at this screen for several seconds, you're gonna see that this is not the last screen in the game. There actually is more after this. Kind of like what a post-credit scene is in all those Marvel movies. This game very well has that same thing. Still plays the nice music. This game does have a really good soundtrack. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. This game does have a really awesome soundtrack. Oh wait, here's what it is. The music's gonna change to something very dramatic and eerie. You have won a temporary victory, X. What you destroyed was only a temporary body. My spirit remains intact. In time, I will find other bodies strong enough to do my bidding, and I will return. I shall see you soon, X. Very soon. And the game just freezes at this screen. There's nothing more you could possibly do at this screen. I press every button on the controller. It does absolutely nothing. There's absolutely nothing to do. It's just permanently stuck on the screen. The only way you can possibly get off the screen is to turn off the game. A lot of games back in this era did that. The only way to get out of them was to just turn off the game like that. This is the original Mega Man X. It's a very awesome game, an awesome classic that I always will play. This is Ray Phoenix signing out.